Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the latest episode of the Genesys Cloud Community's Q&A show, the show where we answer your pressing questions in the Genesys Cloud Online Community. My name is Matt Lawson. I'm your online community manager, and today we're all about bots. That's right. If you were in the community during the month of October, you may have seen that we hosted our Big Bad Bot Bash. It was a chance for you to submit your bot that leverages Genesys so that we could get an idea of exactly what you're building out there. Don't worry. We also had some fun and let people submit the bots that they use around their house. I know we saw one about a bot that cleans windows for them, which I thought was pretty cool. Today, we get into who won those contests, but more importantly, we use this as an opportunity to ask you all what questions about bots that you have. Well, as luck would have it, I wound up through our good friend George Ganal getting connected with Dave, who you're going to meet in just a few minutes. Dave has almost 30 years of bot experience, and he brought with him Mike, who I think has another 30 years of experience. So anybody who asked a question in the community about bots last month is going to be getting 60 years of experience thrown at their answer. I can't wait to see what they come up with. I really can't wait because they're going to help me judge the finalists of the competition. And let's just go ahead and get started. Mike and Dave, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. I know it's a busy time at Genesys right now. We're in the middle of our all hands stuff, end of the year, and we are so busy that we're actually going to make this a two-part episode, which is great. That means I get another excuse to hang out with you guys in just a couple of weeks so that we can go through and answer more questions from the community. But first, let's get started. Mike, Dave, tell me a little bit about yourself. Dave, let's start with you.
Sure. My name is Dave Pelland. I run what we call our self-service and AI team within Genesys PS in North America. So all things IVR and bots. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and this new bot technology is pretty cool. So it's a pretty exciting time to be in this business.
I bet. Yeah, that's awesome. And Mike, what about you? I saw you getting in the community, asking some questions, giving some answers. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm a senior consultant. I work in Dave's department on all things bots and IVRs. I haven't been doing it for quite as long as Dave. I've only been doing it for 30 years. Been around the block.
Cool. Well, I'm so glad you guys got to be with us. This is the first time we've actually done a contest in the community where we asked our customers and partners to submit the bots that they've built. You all are going to help me judge the results of that a little later. But first, we wanted to answer some questions about bots that came into the community. So we did, as the contest was going on, post a thread where we asked for specific questions. Mike and Dave have gone through those. We will get to them in just a little bit, but first, right before recording, we noticed a brand new question come into the community from David Martinez, and we wanted to talk about it to kick off this episode. So David asks, hi, I need some guidance on designing my voice dialogue engine bot to accomplish the following use cases. I want the first intent to recognize when the intent and product are given, then the ask for slot step would recognize the product type is already provided and thus not ask for the product type. The product list type will have more data, approximately 100 values and 600 synonyms. Here's an example of a use case. Bot, how can I help you today? You say things such as technical support, sales, repairs, or something else. Caller says technical support. The bot says, what product are you calling about for technical support? The caller would say, Honda. Bot says, please hold while I transfer you to the Honda technical support team. There are a few more use cases like that. In the interest of transparency, I'm going to skip them for now. But I do want to go into the bottom where he says, I believe the intents and slots need these definitions. Intent, technical support, sales, repairs, utterances, technical support, tech, support by itself, sales, orders, repairs, fix my car, etc. Guys, I probably did a bad job of reading this, summarizing it, but you all have combined 60 years of experience. what advice do you have for our community member, David?
Sure, I'll take this one. This is more of a kind of a design side question more than an implementation question, if you ask me. So I would start with the way that you've got it broken down, David, in terms of the prompting you're doing and the responses you're expecting, right? The responses that you're going to expect your callers to provide are completely based on that initial prompting. And so you're using natural language input, right? How can I help you today? Good start. But then you jump into you can say things like tech support, sales, repairs, or something else. So you've got the second half of that prompt is really a directed dialogue, old school type question where you're saying, listen, I need you to pick from a menu of technical support, sales, repairs, and something else. So I think you're probably better off stopping that prompt after the how can I help you? You're going to be more likely to get phrases like, I need help with my, Honda thingamajig or whatchamacallit. I need, you gave an example down below, repair my ES300. If you don't give those examples there that kind of constrain things, you're more likely to hear, I'm calling because I need to get a repair done on my ES300. So you're more likely to get the more natural responses, which the AI works great on. And then you're also, because you're not constraining them with that hint of, tech support, sales, repairs, or something else, you're much more likely to get the longer sentences, which will include the product names. And therefore your bot will now skip asking them follow-on questions because you picked it up in that initial utterance. So I would kind of do a little tune-up on your design, change your initial prompting, change the training phrases that you've got for your intents down below to be much more natural. I'm calling because I need a repair on my blank, where blank will be the slot with the product names and those kinds of things. I think if you start there, you'll start seeing people giving you much better natural language phrases. You'll be giving the AI a lot more meat to train on in terms of a variety of phrases around, repairing and sales and those kinds of things. And I think you'll see probably a pretty good improvement in terms of people saying the longer phrases with the product name in it. And then to your point, you'll always have that backup, which is if they say, I'm calling because I need a repair on my piece of equipment, you can follow up with the phrase, with something that says, okay, what is your piece of equipment, and get the details. But I think from a design standpoint is where I would start. Change your initial prompting, make it a little more natural. People will be more likely to give you the long phrases, including the product names. And I think that'll give you a pretty good boost.
Okay, cool. I love that. Mike, what do you think? Anything to add for our friend David?
Yeah, no, Dave's right on the money there. One of the things is from an implementation standpoint, when you want to include the product names and the things that are in your slot, you want to include that slot as kind of a wild card in your NLU phrase. So that's how it will pick up the slot value as you're collecting their input.
Okay, cool. Awesome. David, it just so happened we were about to record and I saw your post came in just an hour ago. So glad we got to cover it here. Now, guys, let's get back to what originally brought us together. Let's talk about the thread where our community friend, my partner in crime, Nicole, asked for our community members to give us their bot questions. This contest launched early in October, ran the whole month, and you can see this post has been up for 29 days. We actually got some really great questions. Mike, I know you've gone through and kind of replied to a few. The plan as of now is we're going to get back together in a week or two. You're actually going to do a demo where we go through some of these. And what we thought would help is, as you were looking through the list, you kind of had some follow-up questions for people. Any threads in particular that you want to call out? I know before recording, we were talking here about this one with Rohit.
Yeah, so Rohit asked this question. He's trying to use an ask for intent, and he's using the same ask for intent multiple times, but on his second pass, he's not getting the second result. Now, I'm not entirely sure how he has everything set up, but if you scroll down to my response in number 6, I pointed out that one thing that is kind of a gotcha with slot variables, I'm assuming he is using the slot variable to return his value to his inbound flow. These are kind of global in that they don't always reset. So you have to explicitly clear them. There's a clear slot block if you look at the architect palette. And best practice is kind of to call that before you do an ask for slot. Because what happens is if you don't do that and you've already populated that slot, it'll just skip the ask for slot block as if you responded, but it's going to have the same value that was in there originally.
Okay.
So what I will typically do is I will use the slot variables only for capturing the information, and then I will save them to a different variable and then pass that variable back just to kind of get around that. But we can show a little illustration of this next time we get together.
Rohit, try to review what Mike said. If you can get back to him, it may help him put together his demo so that we can more specifically make sure we're addressing the issue that you're facing. Mike, any other questions that came in that you want to talk about right now before we meet again?
I think there were maybe one or two others. One of them had to do with DTMF support. That's as simple as adding digits in your list slot. I believe my assumption is they're trying to add DTMF fallback for a menu or something like that. So
Okay.
you would basically just add the number 1 for the DTMF fallback for option 1, that sort of thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like even Nicole was trying to get in there, and they clarified, yeah, we're facing issues with the DTMF. The bot is not taking the DTMF. If you can get back to us, we'd love to get some more information. What about what Rolf said? He said, we have built a digital bot flow. Is there any way to export the results I see on my screen? I want to give the export to our team leaders of the concerning department rather than giving multiple supervisors view rights on the architect part to see this information. This seems like a pretty straightforward one.
I'm not aware of an export feature for utterance history. The utterance history is actually very powerful and great to use when you're debugging things. It's not super searchable, and I'm not aware of an export. I think you can, copy it and paste it into an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, but there's not actually an export feature, which would be a great thing for us to add to the product.
I was going to say, yeah, if you open up a request, because it's one of the ones that our team internally is also asking for, is the ability to export this so we can do some more kind of offline. We're looking at it to be able to do offline manipulation kind of things and crunch some numbers. But this is a good example of where, being able to export it would be good for you to communicate to other members in your organization. So it's a good request.
Cool. Yeah. Dave, Mike, Rolf, all of you guys, we have an ideas lab. Hop on over there, submit that idea, vote on it. We know how this works. Nicole and Rolf were both kind of talking about this. Oh, never mind. Nicole actually already gave the link to
it's using an API, right? Yeah. So
Yeah,
today
perfect.
you can do it with an API. Yep. And Nicole is the one we've been working with. So she's you got the right person in the loop here.
Oh, okay. Excellent. I love that. They did come back with another question. It looks like Nicola also is addressing that one. So we'll leave it be. So I guess the only one that's left is at the very tippity top here. This one comes from Anton. Anton is one of my favorite members in the community. I've met with him multiple times on Zooms. He's a great guy coming to us from New Zealand. I'm sure he's watching the episode. Hey, Anton, how are you? Just real quick, I wanted to go over his question. He said, we are building a voice bot to allow customer to enter a customer number and PIN. For PIN, we are using a secure slot, also using a secure data action to check against backend. And bot is called for a secure flow. Maybe it is overkill. Now, if a customer enters their customer number but have forgotten their PIN, how can we let the customer say, I don't know, etc., and not loop through each of the no match, no input attempts, or following the error event path for no match? Since it is a secure slot, we can't access the variable outside of collecting it without making it unsecure. So can't check the values for, I don't know. One approach we thought of is to set the max no match and max no input down to 1 and ask the customer if they want to try again in the no input path, which doesn't help with no match when the customer says, I don't know what it is, or I forgot, or I can't find it, etc. And this is a bot-wide setting, not just a ask for slot setting. Keeping it as 3 attempts means the customer would get frustrated having to repeat themselves that they don't know what the PIN is. Any suggestions on how to handle this scenario would be appreciated.
So it is, if he is using a secure flow and a secure bot, He is correct. You can't actually directly reference the value.
But you can use I think we've done this in a couple of places. There are a lot of little gotchas in here, and he's caught most of them, right, Mike? But you can do
Yeah.
a regex for the pin. I believe the pin is the issue here, right? They're asking for the pin,
Correct.
collecting it in a secure variable, but they want them to say, I don't know it. So you can create a regex, which allows you to say the pin or I don't know it. That gets you past trick number one. But now you have what they said is in a secure variable. And the question is, how do you check if it's a pin or the words I don't know it if you don't look at what's in the, if you don't peek under the hood in the secure variable? And I think what we've been doing on some of these here, where you want to make sure that the pin isn't leaked, is what you're trying to protect. You can actually do it's the I forget what Mike, do you know what the block is to decode the secure variable? It's like extract secure data
or extract.
Extract secure data. So in
That's it.
extract secure data, you can actually do some expressions in there. And so you can do something in there to check if what they said was I don't know it, and what you can extract basically from the block is a true or false, a Boolean basically, as to whether it's, I don't know it or not, and not have to leak the pin. So it is a tricky one, and there are a few games in there to play, and I probably got that about 90% right. and you might have to tweak it, or Mike, maybe this is one that we look at.
Yeah, this is definitely be a good one for us to illustrate.
It's a combination of, you have to tell the system that you're allowing for both the pin and I don't know it. That's one step. And then you have to find a way to look and check if it's the I don't know it versus the pin without letting the pin come out of the kind of secure state. So it's a combination of playing games with the regex expression and the extract secure data. And I know we have some hefty internal, best practices docs around those two tricks. So we can surface those and probably bring this as a second one to bring back in a week when we do some examples.
All right, cool. Well, I love that we're going to get to touch on this again. Anton, it looks like, has been waiting for an answer for about 28 days. So we hope he can hang on just a little bit longer, but maybe what we gave him today will be enough to kind of get him started. All right. So Mike, Dave, I know I get to connect with you guys again in just a couple of weeks or a week or two to go through some more in-depth demos. But first, we're going to hear from Nicole, because she has a winner to the home bot contest. That's right. People could submit a bot that they made using Genesys software, or one that they made to enhance their own house. And Nicole has the winner for us. Nicole, take it away.
Thank you, Matt. In the month of October, we held an innovative contest for the mad scientists in the Genesys community. It was called the Big Bad Bot Bash. It was a contest with 2 ways to win. The first was to submit a story about a bot you created using Genesys software. The second was to tell us about the technical or robotic designs you placed in your home. And I'm super excited to announce our first winner of the personal bot or home upgrade contest. When this person first set up a chicken coop in their backyard, they didn't anticipate how long and difficult it would be to feed the large flock of birds they procured. So they got creative with some PVC elbows, a trash can, and a drill. Soon they were able to feed 30+ pounds of feed at a time without having to refill the small container daily. And now, time to reveal the winner. Drum roll, please. Congratulations to Stacy Sanchez for really thinking through this awesome home improvement design and bringing it to life. Now we're going to reveal the winner of the Genesys Bot category, but I'm going to hand it back over to Matt to reveal those details. Matt, take it away.
Now we get to judge the winner of the Genesys Bot contest. Are you excited?
Sounds good.
So I think Robert is one of our power users in the community. He's actually been on the show before. He's one of the few partners who has joined us live for a recording. Met him in experience. He's a great guy. And I think he actually submitted 2 bots. We didn't say there was anything wrong with that. The first one he said is a bit of a baby bot, but he said they've always struggled with the dial by name directory in Genesys Cloud. So I decided to build my own bot using a bot of sorts. I saw the new preview API for user search and thought to myself, hey, what if you used a bot search for users instead of the build in stuff that never worked? That led to my dial by name botlet. First, I run the caller through a bot that asks for anything using any slot type, simple enough. I have the option to confirm names and messaging. Then I run that into the user search API. It will come back with matches that contain the spoken name. I iterate through the names, and when user chooses one, I simply look up that user and transfer to them. Simple enough, shows the power of simplicity of design. Of course, this would not have been possible without the new search API. What do you guys think about that first submission?
That seems pretty good. I'm not familiar with the user search API myself, but I would think that the recognition part is the easier part. As long as you can search in the API with some wildcards, because you may not have people's names spelled correctly or something like that. But yeah, this is a good use.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
We can go ahead. Here's one from Lucas. I've been on a mission to bring software development practices to how OVO Energy, a major energy supplier in the UK, develop Genesys chatbots. We use what I've created to quickly and reliably release new features in our chatbots, all whilst maintaining quality. This has resulted in reduced our turnaround time to be able to adapt to customer feedback. That's cool. Reduce the time it takes to develop, test, and release new functionality. Reduced issues with our chatbots. Chatbots' behavior being clearly defined is easy to read. He says tests. I think he meant tests, maybe texts. At a high level, the automated process looks like this. You all can see that there. Deploy the data all the way to deploying the flows. He says, I've been lucky enough to talk about it on stage at Experience 23. Hey, Lucas, I remember you now. And Genesys Tech in 20 podcasts. How cool. In my spare time, I also write blogs about it. I've created on some OVO tech blogs. This is pretty awesome. One part of it that I'm particularly excited about at the moment is integrating Chat GPT into my open source web messenger testing tool. This will allow us to leverage generative AI to perform automated exploratory tests, which is jolly exciting stuff indeed. I've never gotten to read Jolly on camera before. I'm so excited. I've written more about this in a discussion thread. Oh, awesome. Cool. And he links out to it. And there is a video of it in action. Very cool. Guys, what do you think of what Lucas did?
Well, it's pretty cool. That's turning turning it on its head a little bit, right? Using a bot, not so much, he's not talking about the bot he's building or testing. He's building a bot to test that bot using Chat GPT to kind of, I'm assuming, pumping different potential responses from users into the bot and see how they behave. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, he was on the experience stage. Hasn't been invited on the Q&A show. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. I don't know, Lucas. I don't know. Aaron, I've known Aaron for years. Aaron, thanks so much for entering. And actually, I love this because Aaron is, I think, still using Pure Connect. Let's see what he built. Yeah, a lot of the core features of Pure Connect that relied on an external vendor of sorts ceased to exist when the vendor did as well. This is pretty much the case with voicemail transcription, which was previously powered by Yap. RIP. 2011 Amazon acquisition. Man, say a prayer, guys. Anyhow, this was a really common request, so I decided to just build it out as a customization instead. Very cool. I built a solution using Google's long-running transcription API/cloud storage and hacked apart the existing voicemail handlers to make them support writing to a separate .wav file. passing that to a Genesys Cloud storage bucket, and kicking off the transcription process. Since it's voicemail, the added few seconds of delay this process added really wasn't impactful. Great news. The great thing was that it was very easy to set up GCP projects for each of the subgroups using the service, so we could easily bill back the recognition API usage appropriately. Then he asks the prototype questions that we gave them. What made you start this project? Sounds like a fun challenge. How long did it take? About a month. That's pretty cool. Any favorite or least favorite memories? Editing the HTML templates. I get that. What were the results? Pretty sizable. We've kind of read through those. Did you have help along the way? He said, yes. Whoever wrote the documentation / Python libraries for GCP. Does your project or bot have a name, voicemail, transcription? How did it turn out? Honestly, better than anticipated. Aaron, congratulations, guys. What do you think?
That's very cool. That's sounds good.
It's a little more of a, what do you call that? A traditional bot than sort of an AI NLU bot, right? It's sort of a kind of an old school bot, but boy, that's a pretty good hole he filled with his
exactly
with his solution.
Stranded on a desert island, he put it together. No,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool. I think we just have one or two more left. This one comes from Andrew. I came into the position having very little experience building and managing chatbots in a time of transition for the company. This transition was what caused the inception of the project, leaving our previous chatbot provider, who offered less flexibility and fewer tools. There was an opportunity to increase the ability and quality of the bot. Over about 3 months, I built the first iteration of our new bot, the virtual assistant, through Genesys Cloud CX. Even being that I was learning everything as I went, the company saw dramatic results. We saw an increase in bot entries of approximately 66%. To 35,000 entries a month. Wow. A container increase 32% to 84%, and a 13.5 decrease in chats requiring live agents. The Genesys Resource Center and community were a huge help. Hey, there we go. The documentation and community taught me to effectively use the built-in variables for chatbots. Shout out to session.lastCollectionUtterance and session.active_intent, and how to build my own. The built-in variable I use to smoothly pass members through chats when necessary information to provided to avoid asking repetitive questions or unnecessary clarification. They also use they are also used to react to time of day and week to ensure a natural human-like experience of our members. Although many of my custom variables may be simple in terms of construction, they are powerful tools to ensure our members get their questions answered. Learning new tools, making proof of concepts, and applying them to the bot has been fun. I relish the experience, as it is just one huge puzzle, a puzzle that is always evolving, sometimes devolving, but that is part of the journey. The virtual assistant and I have come a long way over the last 13 months, and we still have much further to go as I figure out new and more effective ways to help our members. Hey, all right. I don't get to pick a favorite, but he mentioned the community, so it's clearly my favorite.
I think I could use a little more info on this one. I mean, his numbers are great, right? The containment increase is fantastic, and the decrease in live agent needs and that stuff. But the virtual assistant is a pretty big umbrella. So whatever he's gotten there is obviously working for him. But yeah, it's hard to understand exactly what types of functionality he's putting there.
Oh man,
I had to chuckle when I read his shout out, because session last collection utterance is a popular guy.
Oh, cool. Nice. Cool. Glad Andrew could find it. It looks like Robert saw that he had some competition, so he came back in with another entry. When HRIS integration was announced for Bamboo initially, I dug into the API and workflows. From there, I started putting together data actions that could be used by our staff with other HRIS systems. Then I got the idea of why even use an external system and allow managers to keep track of that on their own. Interesting. I began building 2 data tables and data actions that could mimic the HRIS system data and use the search activity. The workflows will pull in these values when requesting time off and if approved, these are then written to another table. The beauty of this solution is that the HRIS system does not have to be touched. They just download a CSV and import into the table. I don't have the ability to look ahead at what they might accrue, but working on that. This is an alternative for people to try this out as well. What do you guys think about Robert's second submission?
Very cool. Again, that's someone else using the search user API.
I don't think that's a third entry from Robert. And if it is, I'm not going to count it. But, one more from Jan. And it came in at the last second, just 2 days ago. So literally right before the thread closed. Han. And Han also actually just won a community award for being a rock star. Han, welcome to the Q&A show. This project started from the requirement to have surveys integrated in web messaging. It began with a small concept of giving a basic rating and has now grown a bit bigger and is still evolving as new needs come up. To send customers to the bot, the agents have a end chat button in their script, which they use instead of regular disconnect. This just transfers the customer to a queue flow, which has the bot attached to it. In its current state, it will get the survey form attached to the queue from policies and type out the questions in that form. So administrators only need to update the survey form to change the questions the bot is asking, taking information from the header, footer, and questions in the form. Most of the times in web messaging, this will just be a score and a comment field, but any available survey question type could be used with some limitations. I haven't implemented conditional questions yet since that need hasn't come up, but we'll throw it in there when I have time to spare. The bot is probably the most basic of the solution, which also includes a bunch of data actions, saving the answers to a data table, a survey flow that will update it with survey URL after it triggers a workflow. In the end, the workflow will fill out the survey via APIs, so results are updated in Genesys, and you can delete the table entry. Currently, I'm expanding this so it can also send transcript of message interaction via email. And one idea that came up is that since all survey logic is there, I can reuse this to make a voice bot out of it, and that will be my next project. What do you guys think? Did Han need to go ahead and do that voice part to edge out his competition, or are you pretty impressed with what he's done so far?
Seems pretty involved.
I was going to go winner chicken dinner.
No kidding. Awesome.
That's pretty cool. So they've got a survey form. He's kind of scraping the information from there, turning it into a web chat survey, and then packaging up all the results and sending those along. It's pretty cool. I think for me, the two were this one and the ChatGPT testing one. But this is pretty cool and practical, like a practical use for probably almost everybody.
Yeah, no, it's a great solution.
That's
Well,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
and it does look like that. So that was the last one. So for you all, it was down between Han and
That ChatGPT testing one was the other one that was pretty good.
that was
This one here, Lucas.
Lucas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys seem split on this then, huh?
I don't know. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, I'm all about implementation, so I might have to lean towards Han a little bit, but I agree Lucas's is cool.
Well, you know what we can do? It looks like we've narrowed it down to 2 people. How about we let the community vote on who our winner should be, and then the next time we get together, we can announce who it is.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Let's do it.
All of
So
those are pretty cool. Yeah, all of those.
Yeah,
are cool.
nice. Yeah. So everybody, we're putting the power on to you. Go on to the community site, genesyscommunity.com. We will have a poll up in just a matter of probably around the time this episode goes live. 1 vote per person, vote for your favorite bot, and help us pick a winner. Congratulations though, guys. Everybody who submitted, great bots across the board, really impressive stuff. And Dave, Mike, I can't thank you all enough for joining me for part 1 of this. I'm actually really excited I get to record with you in 2 more weeks. That'll be fun.
Thanks, Matt. We'll see you then.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys. It was a lot of fun recording with you. All right, everyone, that concludes this week's episode. We hope to have the next one out just before Thanksgiving, or if you're more like me, just before Black Friday. I'm always looking forward to Black Friday. On a side personal note, whatever you want to call it, I just want to say Nicole and I had so much fun looking at all of the bot submissions that came in. Thank you everyone who submitted. Thank you everyone who checked out the page, who gave us feedback on what a fun contest it was. We really appreciate it. And keep in mind, if you are watching this video and you're curious what all happened, go to the community. You can still see all of the submissions there. And because what you got in this episode is just a taste. But I look forward to coming back in a couple of weeks, giving you a more detailed answer to some of the questions that you all submitted, and getting to hang out with Mike and Dave again, because we had a lot of fun. Hope you did too, and we'll see you soon. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. We hope it was helpful and maybe a little bit entertaining. Each week, our host and experts review community discussions and debate what content to discuss, so your voice matters. Did we miss something? Do you have a question for the show? Let us know. Join the conversation at the Genesys Online Community. As a Genesys customer or partner, you can create an account. Just click the sign in button found on most pages and follow the necessary instructions to create an account. Also, feel free to email us at qashow@genesys.com. We'd love to hear from you. If this is your first episode, welcome. You can view our entire archives. Go to the helpful links panel found on most community pages and find the QA Show archive that interests you.
Also, check out the community's prize wall for current contests and previous winners.
We appreciate your support of the show and the community. Cheers!